Thank you.
Okay, we have minute approval for the regular meeting of July 12th.
They look good to me.
Yes, I
Long
didn't
set of
have
minutes.
any changes, so is that a motion, BJ?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, I'll
Is that for
second.
the regular meeting?
That's for the regular meeting.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes. Okay, and then we had the
The special meeting for the budget.
budget,
Those are short and sweet. I will make a motion to approve.
second that.
PJ,
Yep.
Mike,
Yes. Okay, and just jumping back, Jeffrey Heinrich was supposed to be here from NOPEC. They called today and he was going to reschedule for some future date, which we don't know what it is, so. Just in case anybody was looking for him, he's not here. Okay, reports, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Well, it looks like Fred's got a lot of stuff in the mailboxes here from our township quarterly meeting, which was all about the huge slush fund that's coming our way, and why we should be motivated to take all that money. So, Fred, you gonna talk about that some later, or wanna do it now?
yeah, we can, I mean, basically we've already applied for the ARP funds. I did that last week. And it's calculated based on our budget, and they take a certain percentage of that to calculate how much we would be getting. What I was really wanted to point out was I put here, it's a guide from the Ohio Township Association on what we can use that money for, and we should probably go through this on our own and take a look at it. It's different than the CARES Act funding because it doesn't necessarily have to be related to directly to COVID. This is more to help with the economic recovery post-COVID. So there are COVID-related things in here, but there's also some things in here that aren't necessarily tied to the pandemic directly.
It looks like
There's
leave you pretty wide open for what we can do with it.
infrastructure, there's a big point on like internet infrastructure, water, economic impact, enhancing outdoor spaces such as parks, et cetera, small business loans, and just a pretty wide berth of things that we can use that money for.
Is there any request for a plan at any certain time, or?
Not so far. No, not so far.
No?
No,
Okay,
we said that
so
we need to plan.
we're getting like $675,000, it sounds like. So that goes into what fund?
That'll go into, we'll either create an ARP fund or it's gonna go into the COVID fund.
And when does the auditor start beating you about the head to spend that money?
Well, they want it spent by, let's see here.
2024.
That's 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's 3 years.
Now, what's our, is that the total including what we got, or is this like a new revised?
This is new.
This is new.
This is
675 is new?
About double what we got last, more than
Right.
double what we got
Right.
last time.
Yep. You know, there's some things that are ineligible, like we can't use it for our road program, we can't use it for rainy day funds, we can't use it to pay down bonds or debts, we can't deposit that into a pension fund, we can't use it for matching other grants. So, and those are basically the restrictions.
I haven't read what you can't do, so
Yeah.
that'll be important. I haven't read through those yet.
But, that's pretty much it. And we'll have to go through that in detail before we start appropriating that money. They haven't really set, like when we got our COVID funding, they said you had to have it appropriated on this date, and you have to have it encumbered on this date, and spent by then. They don't.
Which was all beyond stupid, because every township ended up buying the touchless faucets and the all the water stuff, you know, and of course the plumbers are slammed, they got, you know, I mean, you
Couldn't get
couldn't
anything
get
done
any
in time.
material.
Right.
You can
Well,
get
so
any
they
material.
finally expanded that a year for the first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had to extend it because nobody could spend it in time.
Well, even if, yeah, I mean, there was nothing out there, like, we were looking at, the rescue squads and stuff, there was nothing out there, we go to
I
PA.
went in a lot. Luckily, yeah, you guys found
We
me.
lucked out on that one.
Yeah, that was it, New York?
Yep.
Well, that's gonna be an ongoing issue still, because there's a shortage of manufactured goods.
Well, they're looking at some plow trucks now, 18 months on those.
I'm waiting 4 months for a shower door.
Well, solid gold ones,
Started to
those are
stink a little
kind of
bit.
rare.
Could use them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't really have anything further.
Okay. Fred, was that yours then?
I've got some other stuff here.
Go ahead and you might as well go through the rest of your,
Okay, we've got a couple resolutions here. The first one is we need some supplemental appropriations and we need to reallocate some appropriations. These are to pay for tax collection fees. In particular, in the fire levy fund, we had a pretty large increase because of the new levy, so it costs us more to collect more money, supposedly. So the resolution is 2021-21. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the following appropriations are necessary to pay tax collection fees. $7,409.26 to account 2191-220-314 Fire Levy Fund, $7,786.72 to account 100-110-314 in the General Fund, $5,000 to account 2031-330-314 Road and Bridge Fund, and $7,000 to account 2191-220-314 Fire Levy Fund, and $4,000 reallocated from account 2191-220-230 to 2191-220-314 in the fire fund. That's that resolution.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt.
second.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Second resolution, I'm gonna skip a couple numbers here. This is resolution 2021-24 for supplemental appropriations and supplemental revenue. And this has to deal with the fire fund, with the increase in revenue in the fire fund, which we couldn't include in our original budget because we weren't collecting the money yet. So, we have an increase in revenue of $621,148.57 to account 2191-101 Fire Levy Fund tax revenue. And then we have an appropriation of $10,000 to account 2191-123-23, and that's for repairs and expenses in the fire fund. You'll see we have a bill for HVAC work that was done. It's $9,000 some dollars, so it's basically to cover that expense.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
did you want to do the levy stuff now?
Might as well, you're on a roll.
Business. All right, so we have the option of putting a 1 mil road and bridge renewal levy up. We could wait until next year, but this gives us 2 chances at it. So, try to hit the highlights here. The first thing we need to do is we need a resolution for our certificate of need. We have to show the need for the levy. And this goes to the auditor.
This is the 1 mil, this is a 1 mil.
Correct,
It's
yeah.
not the 2 mil one. There's
It's
one
a
that's
1
2
mil. It was originally voted in 2008. It was last voted, approved on November 7th, 2017.
I think that was replaced in 2008.
A replacement?
Yeah, that was a replace. We replaced almost, I think, all those 1 mils.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any evaluation change worth dealing with now, so I would just, yeah, I'd be all for just running that as a renewal.
Okay. So this would be resolution 2020-22. And we're asking for a levy in excess of our 10 mil inside millage. And it'd be for the purpose of, under Ohio Revised Code 5705-19G, for the general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in municipal corporations, counties, or townships. And be it resolved by the Board of Trustees after meeting in regular session on July 26, 2021, at the Auburn Township Administration Building, that pursuant to ORC 5705.03B, said board hereby certifies this resolution to the Jaga County Auditor and requests that the auditor certify back to the Board of Trustees the total current tax valuation of the subdivision and the number of mills required to generate a specified amount of revenue, or the dollar amount of the revenue that would be generated by 1 mill for 5 years for the purpose of road and bridge construction and reconstruction. That is the resolution to get the certificate of need, or get the value from the auditor.
So moved.
Second.
And these are forms that the auditor gives us, so
Okay, let's vote on that.
we use those. PJ?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I think, Fred, we were talking earlier, with the deadline's the 17th, is it the 17th?
Actually, it's the 5th.
The 5th.
Yeah.
So we're right on the clock then, aren't we?
Yeah, we have one more meeting, but we can do this resolution now, and this gets presented to the Board of Elections once we get our value back from the auditor.
Okay.
That's the same filing deadline for trustee.
It's August 4th.
Fourth, yeah.
Resolution declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jaga County, Ohio, 2/3 of all members elected thereto concurring that it is necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the benefit of Auburn Township for the purpose of, for general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in municipal corporations, counties, or townships at a rate not exceeding 1 mils for each $1 valuation, which amounts to 0.1 for each $100 of valuation for 5 years, which levy is a renewal of a 1 mil levy first passed in 2008. And resolved that the fiscal officer be and is hereby directed to certify a copy of this resolution to the Board of Elections, Jaga County, Ohio, on or before August 4, 2021 by 4 p.m.
I'll make the motion.
You need a motion for that? Fred, you want to vote on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll second it.
PJ?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
That's all I've got, other than the regular reports that I have in front of me.
All right. And I just returned from vacation yesterday. Only interface I had with any constituents was my neighbor as I was leaving up, who said that she wanted me to bring up a pool for the community. I told her to move to Solon. So if you have another answer, let me know, but All right, chief?
Okay, report of calls from January 1st to June 30th. EMS calls, we had 233. Last year at that time, we had 223. Fire calls, we had 155. Last year was 158. Total calls is 388. Last year was 381. Very close. Mutual aid given, 79. Last year was 101. Mutual aid received, 23. Last year was 36. Total transports was 159. Last year was 151. Non-transports was 90. Last year was 82. Transfer to other agency, we had 0, 1 last year. Total patients this year is 249, and last year was 234. We're currently running about 21.13% back-to-back calls. That's it for my report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Public comment?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Oh, I do have a question, Diane Jones. What is this bill? I'll find it. Maybe I won't. Sedgwick, $3,025, 6467, what is that?
Sedgwick is our new third-party administrator for the Bureau of Workers' Comp Insurance. They
Okay.
used to be CareSource, I think.
Yeah, Carol works.
Okay,
CareWorks, yeah.
okay.
Still have Otarma? That's still out?
Oh, that was the
Yeah.
other one, the Otarma 6504.
Property insurance.
Yeah, property and liability insurance.
Okay, good, thank you.
Going once, going twice? Motion to adjourn.
Oh, can I, is meeting over or?
Did you want to speak?
It was close, but not yet, no.
Oh, okay, I thought you were adjourning the meeting.
Well,
They
we're
are.
going to,
They are,
but,
okay,
but now we're not going to.
okay,
So you can, what do you want to talk
okay.
about?
So I wanted to bring up something because it's getting more and more annoying, and it's these power failures. I have talked to John Everly about this for a long time. I live down here on Auburn Road, just south of Taylor May. When my power goes out, so does his, so I know he knows I'm bitching about this though, but we just had this power failure about a week ago Sunday. And it was for 8.5 hours I was without power, for no reason.
For no reason.
I know what the reason was, because I went out and found out myself. And by the way, that was the second power failure we had in a 5-day period, because I think we had those storms and we were without power throughout most of the night. The thing that's disturbing to me is that it's always down Auburn Road, okay? And I know that John Everly, he lives, back off of
Back
Auburn in the development there, and he and I have talked about this. But I think what happened on Sunday, a week ago Sunday, is very disturbing to me, because I kept looking on the First Energy app. It says estimated restore time, 1:30, then 3:30, then 5:30, then 7:30. So I think we can start getting the drift of what I'm talking about. So at about 5 o'clock, I said, enough of this crap. So I decided, I came up here because I looked on here and said, there was one of their little triangles that said 101 to 500 people are without power, and it looked like it was along East Washington. So I came up, went down East Washington, and lo and behold, there was a tree company there, sitting there. What I believe they had already cleared a limb, a tree, whatever, off the line. But I didn't see any lines down. And I asked them, I said, have you seen the power company since you've been here? No. Okay, so I thanked them for what they did, appreciated it. Had to go around the block, obviously, because the road closed here. Went down 44, about ready to turn right back on Taylor May, and I forget that development that's right across the street from Taylor May and 44. But lo and behold, there's the power company and their trucks just sitting there doing nothing, okay? I know there was an accident up there at the same time, but it didn't look like it was having an impact on power lines or poles, things like that.
Cracked the pole, that was it.
Sorry?
They cracked the pole,
But it didn't do anything to, shouldn't have done anything to the
No.
power at all.
No.
Because the power was already out.
yeah.
So I asked the guys, I said, hey guys, appreciate you're out here. I said, we have been without power since 10:45 this morning. When are you gonna fix this? Well, we're looking at things. I said, there is a tree service company sitting along East Washington. I asked them, what are you doing there? He said, we're cleared off the tree, or waiting for the power company to come here to let us clear off the tree. And then I said, when are you gonna fix this? Well, we have to wait for our dispatcher. So, excuse my language, they're sitting on their asses over there, and you got this, apparently this communication mess up here. But more than anything, I think what's been the more of a bigger problem is the response time. I think the electric company's response time to these power failures out here is abysmal. The fact that, the one night we were without power for almost 11 hours, I heard my neighbor's generator going, it's gas generated now. Okay, then the next power failure for another 8 hours. This is getting ridiculous. I get it that when we have bad storms and trees go down long roads, and I get that. I understand that. But on a clear day, when you got somebody's tree who probably didn't want to have it damn trimmed, and it falls on line, and it takes over 8 hours to restore power here, okay, it's wrong. And the fact that our bills are going up, my wife and I bought, energy efficient refrigerators, we've got brand new air conditioner, we're using less power, the bills are going up, but the service is getting worse, especially during these power failures. And I don't know what it is about Auburn Road. John told me once that there could be a power line down way up in Newberry, and it affects us. So and last year there was a point where every 2 weeks the power was going out.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
notorious.
you wanna spend an infrastructure money? Spend it on fixing the infrastructure of our power system out here. Seriously. I know there's not much we can do here, but I'm telling you, it's getting worse. It's not getting better. Even my neighbors said, since they've lived here, and they've lived here longer than we have, it seems like we're getting more and more power outages out here than ever before. And I know once I was on a meeting like this, I think we were last year, we were doing Zoom. I think the electric company was here saying, well, we spend millions of dollars going around trying to clear trees off the limbs, blah, I get that, thank you for doing that. But he said there's a lot of people who, when they ask them, hey, can we trim the trees? It's on their private property. They'll say no. Sorry, don't touch it.
That's true.
Okay, and I understand it, but here's what needs to be done. If they've been asked, and one of their trees falls on the power line, you should hold them accountable and let them foot the bill for the repair. Because this is getting ridiculous that we're losing power here a lot. On days when it's just like today. Storms, I get. In fact, I remember one year, not too long ago, we had a storm. There was a tree that went down across Auburn Road here, and I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard this screech of somebody's brakes. It was a big dump truck. He almost slammed right into a log and went across my road. And I get that. I know that East Washington has been closed because trying to clear trees. I get that. But when you have power going out on days like today, when there's no storm, no nothing, and it takes 8 hours to get a crew out here to fix it, that's unacceptable. So I don't know what we can do, but I think we should be looking into it. And why is it this part of the grid, whatever it is always going out? Taylor Bay will stay on. Drives me crazy. They have power, I don't. And I'm using my generator a lot, and I hear my neighbors, they've got these brand new generators that are just sucking natural gas like crazy. So that's what I wanted to bring up to you here. It's getting annoying.
I can tell you
Government reps.
we've been here since 1955. When I lived down where Sun Valley Party Center is,
Yeah,
I'm
where
about
that's at.
500 feet from the Portage County line.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you over the years, if it looked like rain, we didn't have power. For sometimes 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And now we got a new trunk line that I don't know how about 10 years ago came from Aurora that takes care of us. And knock on wood, my power hasn't been out in years. But I can tell you, this is not a local problem. My daughter lives on Snyder Road in Bainbridge, and her family has spent the night with us about 3-4 times in the last month because they have no power for days over there in Bainbridge. So it's just not a, and let's be honest, we're working on a World War II power grid in this country.
Yeah.
And that's part of the
Yeah.
biggest problem, that nobody has done anything to improve the power structure, and we're paying for it.
And you see that they're constantly putting more wires and stuff along these lines. I know the phone companies are putting up fiber lines and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but you're right. I mean, you look at the way things are set up along here.
One of the things you can do with the trees and the branches, I remember when we were starting to do some road improvements, and we were ditching and stuff, and for years, nobody paid attention to trees growing in the right of way and everything, and we had a hell of a time with people going, don't touch my tree, don't touch that tree, don't touch that. And finally, we got down, here was the message, okay, we won't touch that tree, that even though it's in the road right away, but you need to sign an affidavit that says if that tree causes an accident or a problem, your homeowner's insurance will cover it. From that moment on, we never had a problem taking any trees down in the road easement right away.
So maybe there's something to be said about that, I don't know though. Now, I know many years ago, I mean, I've got some tall trees and, they were kind of curving out to the line. They asked me, I said, please trim them. Please trim, I have no problem being trimmed.
Do you have, Gene, any idea what caused them to update your trunk line?
I have no idea, like I said, it comes from Aurora, our
Yeah.
power comes down through
We
Aurora.
were, and I'll agree with you, I'll call over here on a nice day like today, and the power's out. It's not frequent, but it's more frequent than it should be, that's
Yeah.
for sure. We used to have that on Stafford and 44, where I'm at, years ago, I'm gonna say a good 20 years ago. Frequent power failures, we're trying to run a dairy farm, milking twice a day, we had a generator that got a lot of use. Finally, just about every third Saturday, we get this, and about 9-10 o'clock in the morning, there's 3 separate flickers, and then the power would be out for about a half an hour,
Yeah.
and then come back on. And it was routine, almost, you knew it was coming. And we'll come to find out, they would, Johnson Plastic up here, Johnsonite,
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is
yeah.
now, would shut a machine down for maintenance every third week, and then when they powered back up, it was causing all these breakers to trip. They finally fixed that, it was kind of a joke, what is that? Well, we don't know what it is. Well, they knew exactly what it was for years, And so they updated our whole line, and that comes from Newberry. But that's,
Well, so it'd be
I
interesting.
don't know what spurs these things, I know that machine did on our end.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at it, just so you're like, it's a beautiful day, it's 90
Yeah.
degrees, the sun's out, why is because all you people in your 8,000 square foot houses are running air conditioning, and we're running this 1945 wire here, and it can't handle it.
Well,
So,
I mean,
I'm guessing this whole strip here is just being, it's just on the edge.
I'd never buy a house today or build a house without a generator.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a generator, it runs my refrigerators, and like I said, they're brand new, and, the night, I think we lost power during the night. I remember shutting off my generator at 11 o'clock at night, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, my ice cubes were still hard. So I know my refrigerators have got good seals on them. But it's getting old. It really is, and it's frustrating.
The sad part is, it's probably gonna get worse before it gets better, because you got more homes going up. and you
Well, that's just it. So it begs the question. There's that money, and
I gotta say, I can't see taking it's not your tax money anymore, it's your great-grandkids' tax money, and shoveling it over to CEI to upgrade their
Yeah.
property. I can't see that happening. But, and who knows, they're probably getting a check too out of this, so, I don't know.
well, my big complaint I want to present here was the response time. Okay, I get it. Again, when we have a storm or something like that, it's going to take time. But on a day like that Sunday, there's no way that should have taken 8 hours. I remember the guy from the CEI truck told me, he says, "Yeah, we're just waiting for the dispatchers so we can flip the switch." Because I didn't see any lines down when I drove down. It was an illuminating company truck.
Because you don't see those very often.
Yeah, it was an illuminating company truck, and it kind of shocked me when he said, "Yeah, we have to go over there to make sure he's okay so we can flip the switch." So it meant probably a breaker got flipped somewhere, but this is getting old. And I don't know, again, I don't know what we can do about it, start
Well,
raising
the
the
only thing we
stake
can
with
do from
them.
our end is to
But
complain to, and again, the only person we really have to go through is our CEI rep.
I was gonna say, we used to have a rep.
We had reps.
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
We have
They
reps.
cycled through quite a few of them for a while, I
Yeah.
honestly can't tell
Yeah,
you.
there be, you know, it used to be that the reps we had for quite a while, so you develop a relationship with them. Now, not so much.
well, and
So we'll have to find out who our rep this week is.
And Mr. McCune, I really like what you said about, you know, somebody's insurance may have to pay for it, maybe you have to force the issue with some of these people, you know, and put an ordinance in place. I know it would not be very popular, but if that's what it's gonna take to improve the service and cut down these issues, people sometimes gotta take a
Don't
little
worry about
threat.
that, being unpopular is what we do.
But, you know, and again,
We've got
I
years of
think,
experience in that.
I think you may have to go to that extent just to get people convinced that,
Well, I
you know
mean,
what?
we-
Yeah,
When
I
you-
honestly
in your
don't.
property, you're affecting a lot of people when that happens.
I don't know as a government entity if we can force our way into an agreement between
A private entity,
property
that-
owner and a.
I mean, we could check with the
corporation.
prosecutor's
I don't
office.
think we can, but we
But,
can ask.
Bring the rep in here.
Or you know what, ask them how much it's been costing to fix all these issues. Look at it from the financial point of view. It has cost, whoever, all this money.
Yeah, but they
You
don't
wanna
worry
know why
about that,
rates go-
because when they get this extra billing, they just charge you.
Well,
That's all going on your
that's
bill.
why it's happening, it's why the bills are going up too.
Well, I can
Fee this,
sympathize, I
that,
can
this.
sympathize with you, because if you're on a bad run that is, you know, plagued with problems like that, it's frustrating, and,
And,
yeah.
and I know down Auburn Road, for the most part, the power lines are pretty well clear. Down, from here down, even to Bartholomew, they're pretty clear, there's not too many trees that I've seen over them, so it's always somewhere.
I know they've been doing a lot of clearing just recently, at least down Washington.
Mhm.
I don't know if they're doing that just to correspond to the road project and get some of that out of the way.
Anybody ask Bainbridge how they're handling it? Because I know they're getting bombarded, because their power's going out a lot more than ours is.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah,
I know that for a fact.
So maybe there's power in numbers and combining with
Yeah,
Bainbridge
for sure.
people and say, hey, we gotta join forces and do something.
I'm gonna
about
say
this.
every month, one of us at least runs into a Bainbridge trustee, and
Mhm.
usually it's a series of questions, hey, have you ever had dealt with this or that? And
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll
maybe-
probably happen next
Yeah.
month too,
Well,
so.
anyway, maybe that's the, you know, short term at least, that's the best, probably the best alternative is to, you're right, team up with Bainbridge and say, okay, it's gonna be, you know, squeaky wheels, so now you got two squeaky wheels, that might be more than, and they've got bigger population than we've got, so.
Power in numbers.
Anyway,
Anyway,
power in numbers.
that's what I wanted to bring up to you. I appreciate you hearing me out, so.
I sent a letter to the PUCO.
And if you want my name for the record,
It's, are you Hank?
no.
Well, there was somebody else on next door that was
See?
asking if they could come to the meeting and
No, my name is Jonathan, Jonathan,
Uh-huh.
Jonathan. Last name is Tucker, Tucker. And
Thank you,
I'm
Jonathan.
18165 Auburn.
I'm on the same line as you are, trust me, I've leaned
Oh,
on.
you're on Bartholomew, right?
I'm down on Auburn Road.
Oh, I thought
I'm
you were
south of
on
you.
Yeah.
I'm south of John, actually. I'm at the end of the run.
Oh, are you all the way at the end of Auburn?
Yeah.
So you're right by, was that Crackle or whatever it is down there?
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew? Okay, yeah.
That's where, and from that area, it takes over is Ohio Edison, down to Crackle. About
Yeah.
halfway in between. But yeah, I've leaned all over them, and it's, like I said, I think the best thing you could do is get together and send a letter to the PUCO.
Yeah.
They do look at them.
Okay, so we got
So-
two options then.
Our office administrator's out this week on
Mhm.
vacation, but next week give her a call with your contact number.
Okay.
And, we'll keep you
In
the
fact,
loop.
I remember, I sent an email to the admin email address, asking them about, I think the first power outage, you said it was because of trees, so I did, and I was just curious what caused it. What caused the power
Yeah, because that's a
outage.
report, I was on vacation last week,
Yeah.
but I slowly keep me abreast of things with emails.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they said, there was a, branch that went down and took down a wire.
The first one was like on a Thursday or whatever. Power didn't come back on until about 5:30 that morning.
Correct, that was overnight. But that was
At
for.
least when I checked down, they were working.
Mhm.
That tree created quite a mess.
Yeah.
But this last time, I went down there several times, they weren't doing jack shit down.
Well,
Excuse
no,
my language.
no, I did it. I just said,
Yeah,
yeah,
I,
others too. No, like I said, the tree company's there. They haven't seen the power company. I find them sitting over just across Taylor Main 44 where that accident went.
right.
They're just sitting there. 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
That sounds like a management issue more than a labor issue. They had people
Well,
on the scene.
it can be management, but I call bad response time. Anyway, thank you again for hearing me out.
Alrighty, sir.
Now you can adjourn if you want.
No, the motion's already made, just need a second to
Oh,
vote.
okay, I'll go ahead and second that then.
Who?
PJ,
Yeah.
Who's he?
Yes.
Oh,
Who's Larry
who,
Householder?
who did he used to be?
You have to understand something. I very rarely come to trustee meeting. I'm gonna come to more of them now, so I don't know a lot about you.
Larry Householder is a Ohio congressman who's just been indicted for working
Not
with,
just.
yeah, with CEI and the
Oh,
House
really?
Bill, what was that?
Yeah, it was also-
That's six.
Yeah.
House Bill 6
Oh, my
or
God.
something.
Yeah.
See, I don't read the news anymore. It's all bullshit. Okay, you don't know what to believe.
They also levied a fine on CEI too. Pretty healthy fine,
Which they pass on to the customer.
yeah. We paid for it.
Great Lake, if you don't leave it.
They don't.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get any better, I'm clearing all the trees in my backyard and I'm putting up a solar farm.
Do that.
In 1955, my dad planted these evergreen trees that are about 1.5 feet tall, 2 rows. Never did he think they'd live long enough to hit the power line, so if you drive down my street, you see 2 lines of evergreen trees with a great big hole all the way
probably
through.
have seen
And when the guy stopped, and said, buddy, we got a guy, says, listen, I'm a trustee, I understand the importance of keeping those lines clear, cut away. And then I came over there, just a great big hole, all the way through. But hey, it had to be done.
It's like the one tree at this house that's right by the fire station just goes like this.
Yep.
And I think my wife said, look at that one. You know, it's like this. It just
Yep.
burrow right through.
That's what I had.
By the way, is there any way to stop all these trucks going down Auburn Road?
Auburn, come try down a month.
It's like
Those
it's
broken
like
trucks
480
come
down
100
here.
miles an hour
call
down
Cooley
all
Trucking
day
to see
long.
if they, you get any.
They come back.